All right, let's jump right into this explainer. Today, we're tackling something that is literally hiding in plain sight on every single hangar floor and tarmac out there: illumination. But I want you to completely rethink how you view lighting. It isn't just about, seeing where you're walking. In aircraft maintenance, proper lighting is a highly critical human factors safety tool. It's basically your first line of defense against catastrophic mechanical failures.
Here is how we're going to break this down. We'll start with the biology of precision, look into the ambient light myth, cover mastering task lighting, talk about glare and ergonomics, dive into the danger of blind touch, and finish up with the Tokyo 1994 case study.
So let's get started. Section 1. Biology of precision. Why your eyes need light. Before we even think about touching a tool or grabbing fresh batteries, we really need to understand our primary inspection instruments, our own eyes. To function properly, those eyes require ideal illumination. And by definition, illumination isn't just the ambient light in the room, it's the exact amount of light actually striking the surface of your work. Mastering this means you have to control both your general surroundings and your direct local workspace. Okay, let's dive into this biological baseline. Inside your retina, you've got these photoreceptor cells called cones. These cones are strictly responsible for resolving microscopic fine details and correctly identifying things like color-coded wiring. But here is the absolute catch. They demand perfect light to stimulate them. Without good light, your ability to resolve detail just plummets. Mistakes multiply like crazy, and the time it takes to complete even a simple task goes through the roof. Moving on to Section 2, the ambient light myth. General lighting is never enough. That biological limitation brings us to a massively dangerous misconception in our industry: the ambient light myth. Let's break down why ambient light basically always falls short. Think about a hangar. The ceilings are incredibly high, right? That means fixtures gather dust, which drastically dims them. Plus, burnt-out bulbs are super hard to reach, so they're rarely replaced right away. What about outdoors in broad daylight? Well, there you're fighting deep, impenetrable shadows cast by the fuselage, and internal compartments are still completely pitch black. And at night, aerodrome floodlights might look bright, but they're designed for taxiing, not positioned to help you inspect a tiny fuse pin. So, the definitive verdict on ambient light: it is universally deficient for the precision work required in aviation. It's just a baseline. It is almost never sufficient on its own, which means you have to actively supplement it. That takes us to Section 3, mastering local task lighting, defeating shadows. To actually defeat those shadows, local task lighting is your ultimate precision instrument. And there are a few mandatory best practices here. First off, you, the engineer doing the work, are the ultimate judge of exactly how bright that light needs to be. Second, always default to hands-free lighting whenever you possibly can. And third, you have to actively direct light into shadowed areas. So for example, pointing lights upward from the base of a scaffold to clearly see the underside of a wing. Now, we absolutely can't talk about task lighting without acknowledging an undeniable truth of aviation maintenance. Murphy's Law absolutely guarantees your batteries are going to die at the exact moment you are furthest away from the parts store. Never, ever take a chance and try to finish a job in the dark just to save yourself a walk. Always carry spare batteries. Period. To maintain safety standards, you really need to deploy your local task arsenal effectively. A high-quality torch is fantastic for maneuverability, but, it completely occupies one of your hands. Headband-mounted lights, those are a real game changer. They're the ultimate hands-free solution, letting you focus 100% on your tools. And for those deep, inaccessible spots, you've got to rely on remote viewing aids like mirrors and borescopes. Let's look at Section 4, glare and ergonomic hazards, the invisible distractions. Now, what's really interesting about this is that adding a bright light introduces totally new hidden hazards. Understanding how glare acts as a severe cognitive distraction is absolutely key. You've got direct glare, which happens when a task light is placed straight into your line of sight. It's literally blinding. But indirect glare is just as dangerous. That's when light fiercely bounces off highly reflective metal surfaces right back into your eyes, and that causes severe visual washout and fatigue. Both types of glare drastically increase the chance that you're going to miss a critical defect. So the core rule to eradicate this is simple, but absolutely crucial. Always place your task light close to the work, but deliberately angle the beam away from your eyes and away from any reflective surfaces. Because if you don't control the light, you can actually trigger a lethal domino effect of physical strain. Just look at how poor lighting creates a total ergonomic nightmare. If ambient light is terrible, you're forced to use a one-handed flashlight, right? That means you've got to hold onto the scaffolding for balance with your other hand, which leads to awkward neck twisting, muscle fatigue, the whole shebang. You simply cannot focus on a precise visual inspection if your brain is simultaneously fighting physical strain. This brings us to Section 5. The danger of blind touch. Never guess in the dark. So, this physical strain isn't just a problem when you're up on scaffolding. It highlights a massively critical safety hazard in ancillary spaces, too. Safety doesn't just stop at the hangar door. It absolutely extends to offices and stores. During the investigation of a major BAC 111 accident, they discovered that an unmanned parts store was so poorly lit, a shift maintenance manager literally had to block his only light source just to access the drawers. Unable to see clearly, he completely bypassed reading the labels. He ended up identifying critical bolts purely by holding them together, comparing them by feel and sight in the dark, without even putting on his glasses. And that simple environmental failure contributed directly to a major incident, which gives us our absolute golden rule for cramped compartments and dark stores alike. Relying on touch is never a substitute for visual confirmation. If you cannot see it directly with your own eyes, you must fix the light or use specialized optics. You just never guess. Let's move to our final section and see how this all builds up. Section 6. Case Study. Northwest Airlines Accident in Tokyo, 1994. When seemingly small failures in ambient light, task lighting, and ergonomics combine, the results can be catastrophic. The NTSB investigation of the 1994 Tokyo accident revealed a totally horrifying sequence of compounding errors during an OK-to-close inspection of a pylon area. First, the scaffolding was placed way too close to the wing, completely ruining physical access. Second, there was zero dedicated lighting pointing upward into the pylon base. And third, the portable fluorescent lights they did have, they were covered in paint overspray residue which severely dimmed them. And this brilliantly illustrates the ultimate inspection failure. Because of the terrible setup and the contaminated gear, the inspector was forced to hold onto the airplane structure with one hand, awkwardly point a flashlight with the other, lean at a severe 30-degree angle, and twist his neck just to see anything at all. The environment made a safe, secure visual inspection physically and visually impossible. To make absolutely sure you never find yourself in that position, you have to control your environment before you ever pick up a wrench. Run through this pre-task illumination checklist. Verify the brightness is sufficient for your eyes. Clean your equipment. Seriously, check for paint residue. Default to hands-free lighting. Position your light specifically to defeat shadows. And check your angles to eliminate glare. Okay, let's verify this tactical knowledge with a quick scenario. Imagine you're deep inside a cramped, dark equipment compartment, and suddenly your torch batteries die. Do you just use your hands to feel if the components are secure? No way. The only correct safe action is to immediately suspend the inspection. You step away, you obtain fresh batteries or a headlamp, and you use a borescope if necessary to regain a direct line of sight. So what does this all mean for us? We've covered the biology of your eyes, the reality of shadows, and the life-saving necessity of tactical lighting. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one final thought. Next time you walk onto the hangar floor, take a really hard look at the shadows. Ask yourself, is your current lighting setup hiding a critical defect in plain sight? Thank you for watching. Stay sharp out there and always illuminate the unknown.